Hi everybody, thanks for joining us today at our Ranch Adventures. Today we are going to install some simple window trim and baseboards to transform the interior of our off-grid cabin.
That's a lot of trim wood.
So after an expensive trip to Home Depot, we've got all the materials we need for the baseboards and trim work on the interior of the cabin, including the kick plates for the cabinets. We've already got our Harbor Freight Avante airless sprayer set up and ready to go. Now we're just unloading the trailer, putting everything out where it's convenient to spray paint on them before we put them in the cabin.
All right, so this is the second coat on the last of the trim boards. Everything else has been painted. However, we've also used almost all of our white paint. So we're not gonna be able to paint the doors this time. We'll have to finish those next time. So there's no way we're gonna get done this weekend, but we'll get as much as we can done. But the trim is looking good. So we're gonna start with the doors.
81 inches, and that'll leave a quarter, 1/4 there. 81 inches.
All right, so here's the before of the windows.
And what we're doing is we're doing a old farmhouse style trim, so it'll have 1x4s up both sides. And then you'll have a 1x2 that'll be sticking out this way, and then a 1x6, and then another 1x2 on top that'll be sticking out to give it some depth. And it'll be like that on the windows and the doors. And then the baseboards will just be 1x4s.
Taking a look at the 1x2 and just trying to decide if we want a 1/2 inch overhang or a full inch, and we went with the full inch.
So we ran into a problem with these two doors in the fact that the tops are not the same height and they're not level. So we're trying to figure out how to make the trim across the top, which is that right there, go all the way across this and look right.
We are back at it, day 2 of putting up the trim. I think this might be a 2-weekend job for sure. So we're just gonna keep making progress. Having a good time?
Always. Got power tools, well, pneumatic tools. It's always a good time with tools.
Good morning, Bella.
I have everything off the floors so that we can move the bed out and do the baseboards next.
So I'm using this pneumatic finish nailer. We got this whole setup with the rigid air compressor, and it actually came with 2 other nailers. On Black Friday last year, we bought it knowing that this project was coming up, and it has worked really great for this project so far.
The other thing we did was bought all pre-primed boards, knowing that it would speed up the process of being able to paint them. So that's another thing that we're doing to try to keep this process moving along, because there's going to be a lot of tedious work involved. So we're making as many shortcuts as we can. First piece of baseboard is in. That looks awesome. Calls for an M&M for breakfast break.
When we started this project, we tested this window to see how the 1x4s would fit. And
Perfect.
they fit perfect. However, this is our project. So if I move to a different window, which we did not check, that sticks out, roughly 1/4 of an inch, which means we gotta rip some boards to do a lot of these windows.
So we're gonna start with the kitchen window because it shouldn't need the 1x4s trimmed down too much. So let's take a good before. And we'll see what it looks like after. Looks good?
For center?
I think so. There you go, a finished window. We still need to come in and caulk and putty up the holes and stuff, but looks fantastic. Super pleased.
So to trim in these windows, we're just going to line the insides with a 1x4. We're going to put a board all the way across the bottom and a board all the way across the top. And then we'll go with a straight cut board on each side until everything's cased in. After they're cased in, then we'll put the trim on the outside.
So that board wasn't flush with the window, so he's gonna have to use the circular saw and cut it at an angle to make it taper down. All right, so having the same issue with the side, you can see it doesn't quite fit flush with the wall.
But this side does.
We are back for another weekend of fun. We are going to work on trimming out the other window in the front and then also getting the bathroom and laundry room doors trimmed out. We're gonna have to re-shim that laundry door, so that's kind of a bummer, but we're gonna get to work. Here we go.
Although this looks like a fairly simple process that should go fairly quickly, it ended up being a whole lot more time consuming than anticipated because each board had to be cut individually and custom fit to the windows.
But I think the extra effort paid off, don't you? Because truly, I love the way that they look.
Absolutely, and I like even more that they're done.
So the next thing we have to work on is moving up the door frame. So we have to take out that whole door and then we have some shims and we're gonna try to make it as level as the door in the bathroom, so we'll see.
So you see what had happened was the tops of the doors are level, however, both doors are not at the same level. So we had to raise one of the doors to make it level with the other door.
Cinched that right into the wall, secured it so that if grandkids start climbing on the cabinets, it's not gonna get pulled over. And now we can trim out the doors. This one isn't a full board and it's not straight. So we're gonna have to custom cut this one. So we just put it up against the wall and up against the door frame and then we'll draw it.
And then we'll have to cut it like, what, 1/4 of an inch back?
right, so this line is the one that we took from the door frame and then we inched it back 1/4 of an inch all the way down. It is 1 inch on one end and 1 5/8 inch on another end. So he's gonna have to use the skill saw to rip it, which he's not happy about.
Super excited. I love making cuts with a skill saw this long. I'd really rather do it with the table saw. I just don't have the right stuff to set the table saw up to skew the cut at an angle.
I think it looks pretty good. You did a good job. Up against the cabinet, we're trying to figure out if we're going to do it like all the other ones. So I made a little template here. So this one just takes it straight up the wall, but all the other door frames have an inch hanging over the side. So this one is the inch over the side, which I think is a better look. So I think that's the one we're going to go for. All right, putting it up. Let's see how it looks. And then the top of that edge is gonna have crown molding. So I think that looks really good.
Sweet. Good to go?
Yep. So our next design decision is, do we put 2 4-inch piece of trim or do we put 1 solid trim in the middle? Sean likes the look of 2 separate 4-inch pieces. So that's what we're gonna go with instead of 1 10-inch piece. Gotta tuck that pencil in.
Need that pencil.
All right, this makes the living room complete. We got 1 more window in the bedroom. All right, this should be assembly of the last header. Got 1/4 round on the front. We're getting the measurements on the last couple pieces of trim. We are getting close. Happy dance, happy dance. Woo woo, woo woo, woo woo, woo woo. So we bought the 8-inch boards knowing that this was 2 4 pieces. We just wanted a solid instead of a stripe down the middle. But of course it's us, and so this really isn't an 8-inch board. We've already cut it to length, but you can see here, it's not wide enough. So looks like this weekend is over until we go to Home Depot and grab 2 more boards that are 10 inches wide, and then we'll be back and finish. So 1 more weekend full of trim, and then hopefully we will be done. But
Well, then the caulking begins, which is the real fun. So.
and the touch-up paint and the little, what do you call that, wood putty and all the nail holes. And
It's like the gift that keeps on giving, Clark.
the happy dance.
Thanks for watching part 1 of our trim video. If you like this video, please smash that like button and subscribe. As always, go have an adventure of your own.